Hi everyone, my name is Jackson Kendrick, and today I will be doing my SAM report on St. Nicholas. Now before I start, I want to tell you guys the format I will be doing this report in, and the way I will be doing it is starting off with his early life, moving on to some of the miracles he performed, and some fun facts and stories. So let's get right into it. St. Nicholas was born on March 15th, 270 AD. And he was supposedly born in a town called Patara in Lycia, which is a province of Asia Minor. And when he was very young, his parents died. And imagine how sad that would be to be very little and have your parents die and just be left without parents. The next thing is when his parents died, he was left with their wealth, which later in life he devoted to giving to the poor and in need. And one great example of him giving to the poor and in need is the story of the man and his 3 daughters. Now, St. Nicholas heard of a man in his hometown that had lost all of his money and had 3 daughters that couldn't find husbands, so they had to be given up to prostitution. Now, when St. Nicholas heard about this, he felt very sad and he wanted to give back to them. So at night, when they were all asleep, he snuck to their house and put 3 bags of gold in their window, one for each of the man's daughters. And he did this on 3 different occasions, making 9 bags of gold. The 3rd time he did this, the man of the daughters caught him and thanked him for everything that he's done. And here's a painting of that. And let's move on to his miracles that he performed. St. Nicholas's first ever miracle was when he was young and he was walking down the road when he saw a woman with a withered hand. He came to her, prayed over her hand, and did the sign of the cross, and it was miraculously healed. That's pretty amazing if you ask me. His next miracle was when it was his feast day in his hometown, and Arab pirates came and took anything of value, and like gold and jewelry, whatever what was of value at that time, and they took a young boy and made him their slave, which the mother of that young boy became very, very sad. And when the next St. Nicholas Day rolled around, the lady didn't want to celebrate any of the festivities because she was very sad because it was the day that her son got taken away. But that night, St. Nicholas appeared to the boy that was in slavery and prayed with him, and actually took him back to his mother. That's pretty amazing. Just think about that. You're in slavery, all of a sudden someone picks you up and takes you home. That's awesome. The next thing is when St. Nicholas was on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and when he was sailing there, the ship actually got hit by a massive storm. Like, the ship was getting wrecked apart, sails were getting ripped off, everything you can think of, it was happening. And so St. Nicholas prayed, and the storm just stopped, and it was sunny all of a sudden. And the pilgrims were so happy and so thankful, and there's an illustration of that right here. Now on to the fun facts and stories. As I said earlier, St. Nicholas was devoted to give his life to giving to people, other people. He gave all of his money. He didn't live a life of the rich with everything he wanted. He gave it all to the poor because that's how much he cared about them. And St. Nicholas' popularity, I don't know if you've heard of this person, Santa. His popularity comes from being Santa Claus. Now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this big hat, it's because St. Nicholas was the bishop of a town called Myra. And now the only downside of that is at a time when they were persecuting Christians and Catholics, he was persecuted and taken into imprisonment for being Catholic. But later, when a ruler called Constantine came to the rise, he was against all of that, so St. Nicholas later got set free. Now, the last fun fact I have is pretty cool. If you guys have ever hung stockings for Christmas, that actually comes from the origin story of the man and his 3 daughters. People used to hang their stockings, and they would get gifts and money or whatever put into it, and that's where your stockings come from. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jackson Kendrick, and this is my SAM.